This is episode number 58 of Real Occult, where we apply numerology and astrology to the material world. Today, we are discussing the game of life and how every single one of us, born into this universe, living on the planet Earth, has the ability to win at this game of life. We can all win the game of life. So let's jump right into it. Really quick, my name is Tristan Garrett Mueller, and I run Real Occult, the podcast and the Skool community, where we help families improve their children's spiritual foundation through our multi-layered numerology and astrology system. I used to work in hospice. Now I work with families that have children. So I went from one end of the family life spectrum all the way to the other end of the family life spectrum. And I currently have and run a 164 kid before school, after school program, along with the podcast and the Skool community, which is free, by the way. skool.com/real occult. Completely free. We help families improve their children's spiritual foundation, alleviating stress, overwhelm, confusion, and the pressure that comes with being a high-performing parent. And we do all of this with our multi-layered numerology and astrology system, which brings us all the way back to winning the game of life. So one day, every single one of us, all of a sudden just started remembering stuff. We were born. We were living with our parents, with our guardians, whoever was taking care of us. And then all of a sudden, one day, bam, we just started remembering things. And then fast forward a few more years, we're remembering things for school, and then we're learning lessons from our parents, and now we're learning lessons from our friends, and now bam, we are adults out in the universe living our life. And this is the progression that happens for every single person. We didn't choose to be born into the circumstances that we were consciously in this moment. However, with that said, when you look at your imprinted energy from your birth chart, from your numerology, the energy present at the moment of your first breath when you were born, that is the base layer of energy. This is the foundational layer of karma, this imprinted energy that lays out the grand path for our journey through this universe. That's the foundational layer. Then you have the middle layer, the current layer of karma, which is all of the active transits, our active personal months, our personal years, our personal days, the planets in the sign that they're currently in and what house that sign sits in our birth chart, our Mahadashas, Antardashas, the periods that are most active for all of this. This is that current layer of karma. And then we have the top layer, the created layer, which is what we think of as day-to-day karma. You do something bad, bad things are going to happen to us, or bad things will happen to you. And so we have this 3-layer system right here, the foundational layer, the current layer, and then the created layer. The foundational layer we have no control over. And if you look back, it's like episode 49 and maybe it's like 51. I have 2 previous episodes talking about family and that foundational layer. We were born into the circumstances we were so that we can inevitably learn the lessons we're meant to learn so that we can fulfill the role we are meant to fulfill in this lifetime. That is our karmic destiny, and there is no avoiding that. Saturn with its ring ensures it. You have the planet, the big old ring. Some people are on the front side of Saturn bumping into the ring on this side. Other people, they're resisting life, and Saturn's having to drag them forward through life, and so they're bumping against the backside of Saturn's ring. Either way, no matter what, there is no escaping the lessons we are meant to learn in this lifetime. Saturn and its ring ensures it. So what does this mean for us winning the game of life? Well, because we one day just started remembering things in the society that we were born into. Some people are born in the United States. Some people are born into Europe. Some people are born in Asia. Some people are born in South America. We're born all over the world. We just started remembering things and learning things from the people we were around because we were meant to be exposed to those stimuli to learn the lessons. That's that foundational layer. The current layer and the created layer is how the universe gauges the status of our learning. It presents us with experiences through that current layer, and then we create, with the top layer, the created karma, we create our future experiences based on how well we respond to the current experiences we are having. Newton's third law: for every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. This holds true in this circumstance, the scenario as well. Whatever filler word you want to use. Dilemma, it's not negative connotation. And so, as we are moving through life, we have the ability to assign meaning to whatever we find meaningful. And we get to, as an individual, choose what we find meaning in and why. And this is the kicker. Why we find meaning in that thing. So, some people, the game that they are playing is the raw money game. Whether they were born 5,000 years ago and the currency was seashells, or they're born in 2020 and the currency is dollar bills, euros, wherever you are in the world. Their goal is to stack up and collect as many of those as they possibly can. And that's completely acceptable, and there's nothing wrong with that. That is the game that they are playing. Some people are playing the athletic game. Some people are after raw power. They want to have authority over other, quote unquote, authority. They want to be able to make decisions for other people. Some folks are in the learning game. Like I said, I do a before school and after school program. We have 164 kids. I'm surrounded by teachers all day long. These people, their entire mission is to help other people learn, develop, and grow. Whatever game, I'm exposed to that game, and I'm also exposed to the family game as well, and I've run a bunch, so I have exposure to all three of these games. And now as I've gotten older, I'm moving through another Saturn return, I'm moving through another node reversal. I'm having all of these experiences, helping more and more families, more and more kids move through their experiences. Every single person can choose to play whatever game they want to play. There is no right or wrong. And a step further, how we choose to play that game is also 100% up to us. So in school, there's a lot of this, there's two types of thinking. School is almost entirely focused on convergent thinking. There's one correct answer. There's a strict, routine, proper way of coming to that correct answer. That's convergent thinking. 2 + 2 = 4. There's a system to addition that allows us to always get 2 plus 2 to equal 4. That's convergent thinking. That's a lot of academia. That's a lot of school. That's a lot of this organized structure that most of us grow up in. The outside world is almost entirely divergent thinking. There's multiple correct answers. Some are more right than others. And there's an infinite number of ways to come into and get one of those correct answers. So this takes us to the spectrum level of thinking. It's not right or wrong. It's how right and how wrong is it? So if you are going to run a 164 kid before school and after school program, there is no right or wrong way to do it. Some ways are more right than others. Some things are more wrong than other things. But there is no strict one way of doing it, because the way that I do it's going to be different than the way that someone else does it, which is going to be different than the way a third person does it. And all three of us can be absolutely amazing, get 10 out of 10 reviews from the parents and kids in our program. This is divergent thinking. There's a million ways to skin a cat. The phrase is popular for a reason, because it holds real life value and truth within it. So now we have, okay, what game do I as an individual want to play, and how do I as an individual want to play that game? Well, our birth chart, the natal chart, our foundational, current, created karma, all gives us insight into what games are we more suited to play, and how are we most likely to succeed at this endeavor based on this imprinted energy. And so some of us are very emotional forward. We lead with emotions. Other people, raw logic emotions come after. Both of them are correct ways of approaching a task of doing something in the real world. If you're a Cancer, first house, how you approach your physical appearance is going to be different than the way an Aries approaches their physical appearance if they have an Aries first house. Also going to be completely different than a Sagittarius or a Capricorn. All four of those are going to be dramatically different in the way they present themselves for their first house. And that's just one of the 12. Let alone all of the different layers that go into it. And now, the game that I am playing is a different game than what you're trying to play. And it's also different than the game that person 3 is playing. Yet each one of us can have someone playing the exact same game that we're playing, and we're going to approach it differently. And this is why advice online drives me crazy when I see all of this pop numerology, this pop astrology, these drive-by readings, people just throwing stuff out there. And I get it. You got to market your business. You got to do what you got to do to make money. If that's the game that you want to play. If you want to play the I'm going to dilute my information to have it reach more people game, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that game. I get it. I respect it. It's not the game that I want to play. And so having this is top of mind because Saturn retrograde just ended on the 28th of November. Here we are, December 1st, moving into the final month of this 9 universal year, October, November, December, laying the foundation that we are going to be launching the next 9-year universal cycle off of. And so as we move into this third month, we just started off, Saturn retrograde just ends. And we had a couple family readings over at the Thanksgiving break, and most interesting, so a quick story. This thing's getting longer than I thought it was going to be, but that's okay. We have a family. Both kids play sports. Same sport. The way that they approach playing is entirely different. The younger kid is entirely carefree, male. He's entirely carefree. Just goes out there to have fun and play. Extremely, extremely uber competitive, but entirely carefree. This is the type of kid that would show up to a baseball game and not have his mitt, or show up to a hockey game without his sticks. This type of energy, right? Older sister, she also plays. She is analytical to a fault, hypercritical. So much so that it's a hindrance to her ability to play. Thinking too much, constantly worried about making a mistake. And so, same household, same sport, same guidance from parents, yet two entirely different approaches to the same activity. And parents have questions, how can I get younger son to take things more serious like older sister? And looking at the charts and going through and seeing how all of the families connect together, how daughter connects to dad, how dad connects to son, son connects to mom, mom connects to daughter, dad connects, how all of these different energies interrelate, connect, and support each other. It was crystal clear to me that you don't need to try to change him. The friction is coming from older daughter being too anal and critical about making a mistake in what she's trying to do. We get to choose how we play the games that we find valuable. Some people, they decide, and it's also a great tip for business. The easiest way to solve a problem is to decide it's no longer a problem. Some things just stay messed up. And this is something that I've learned as I work through my kinesiology business that I had before I went into the hospice work, and then now as I am doing this after-school program and doing the community for families and their children to improve their spiritual foundations, skool.com/real occult. Completely free community. If you decide it's not a problem, it could literally not be a problem for you. That's how you'll walk into some people's houses, it's a complete mess. Or they have the fire thing just beeping. And they just decided it's not a problem. Yeah, my sink is so piled up full of dishes that you can't even wash your hands in it, but I've decided it's not a problem, so it's just not a problem. Someone like me, that's a massive problem. There should be nothing in the sink. But that's because I've decided that that's a problem for me. There is no rule in the universe that you can't have a massive pile of dishes in the sink, even if it's unhealthy, even if it will cause illness and sickness. Like these hoarders. And the sooner we can accept that maybe I'm just playing a different game than this other person, or even if we're playing similar games, we're both trying to play the, let's say we're both doing landscaping business. We're both running landscaping businesses. But I'm running this to try to make as much money as possible with the idea of selling to private equity. And this guy over here is running a third generation family business and he wants to pass it on to his kids. Two entirely different approaches, two entirely different games, even though they're both doing landscaping business. Private equity guy is going to tell multi-generational guy, hey man, what you're doing is stupid and dumb. I'd never do that in a million years. Multi-generational business owner is going to tell private equity guy, I would never do. And it's like, you don't have to. There is no friction. You take what's valuable from every person you come across and you leave the rest, and we keep it moving. Take the lesson, leave the dirt. It's the same way that I view most of the major religions. You don't want to let the religion get in the way of the lesson. Don't let the dogma get in the way of the information. And so even when you're coming across someone who's playing an entirely different game than you, they're playing the game in a different way or using an approach that does not work for you and that you do not want to use, they still have lessons and valuable information they can give you. The trick is to apply it in your own way to your own circumstances. In business, we'll just bring this back to business really fast. Let's say you are trying to do, when I left college, I ran a cold calling agency for other people. So we'd dial phones for other people and stuff, like a boiler room type deal. And the easiest way to start making progress is to follow someone else's system 100% to a T. If they say you're going to do X, Y, Z in this order, this way, at this time, and you have no experience in there, just follow their advice directly to a T until you get enough reps in. Once you've gotten 1,000 reps in, now you could start tweaking it to make it work better for you and the game that you are playing, the way that you are playing it. The whole purpose of this entire podcast, this thing, oh man, we're now over 20 minutes. The entire purpose, the main takeaway, we got off track, we got a little carried away, did a little wandering through the brain here. If you're still listening, I genuinely appreciate you. The main takeaway, the whole purpose is to, especially as Saturn retrograde ended in Pisces, and now Saturn's moving forward again in Pisces. Jupiter's retrograde in Cancer at the moment. We're going to retrograde back into Gemini for a split second before re-entering Cancer next year. And so as we have this shifting of energies with the Jupiter Cancer, Jupiter expansion, Cancer, emotions, internal world, safety, how we feel safe in our emotional world. Saturn, that ring we were talking about in the beginning, discipline, hard work, learning lessons. Pisces, 12th sign, transition, deep water, undercurrent. So you can think of Pisces as the ocean. You look out at the ocean, it's completely calm on the surface. Yet right below the surface, you have these massive rip currents and these tides building and swelling. All of this movement happening below the surface. That is the Pisces energy in a nutshell. And so we have Saturn in Pisces. It was retrograde. Now we're moving forward. We retrograded all the way back to the very beginning of Pisces. So we're at like 0 degrees, maybe 1-2 degrees right now. I'm not exactly sure. I'd have to look. But we're at the very, very beginning of Pisces. So we're going to get a whole nother Saturn moving all the way through Pisces. So it's fantastic in this 9 universal year, ending all of the energetic loops and cycles that have opened up since 2017. All of these are coming to a conclusion so that we can begin the next 9-year universal cycle in January, 1 month away. The whole takeaway moving into this one energy month is having confidence in yourself, doing the things that you know you need to do, no longer honoring the emotional contracts that expired years ago. We know exactly what we need to do. It's time to break those chains, those emotional ties that have held us in place. and allow ourselves to express that individuality by stating clearly to the universe, this is the game that I am playing. This is what I care about. Nobody else has to care about it at all. It doesn't matter to me because I care about it. And that's what matters. I care about this thing. I find value in pursuing this achievement, game, skill, lesson, whatever it is that you're moving towards. I find it valuable. It means a lot to me. That's all that matters. And once you're bold enough to state to the universe with crystal clear clarity, this is what I'm playing. This is why I'm playing this game. This is how I'm going to play it. The universe will be there to support you. If you've made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you for listening. The universe wants you to win. I also truly want you to win from the bottom of my heart. I want you to succeed. I want you to win this game of life so that we can all learn the lessons we're meant to learn in this lifetime, fulfill our karmic destiny by spreading and sharing the experiences that we've had with others so that they can also share and learn and grow from their experiences so that at the end of the day, we're all fulfilling the role we're meant to fulfill, which is winning the game of life. And whether we like it or not, there is no escaping the lessons we are meant to learn in this lifetime. They are there to guide us, mold us, refine us, so that ultimately at the end of the day, we do win the game of life by fulfilling our karmic destiny. If you've made it this far, I genuinely appreciate you. You can always send me an email if you have any questions, Tristan@realoccult.com. You could check out the Skool community, skool.com/realoccult. We help parents improve their children's spiritual foundation through our multi-layered numerology and astrology system so that you can eliminate family stress, overwhelm, confusion, the pressure to perform, making decisions that may or may not dramatically alter your child's life. Do I allow my kid to XYZ? Do I prevent them from doing this? Or is that something that is pre-written into their chart for them to be good at? They're energetically blessed divinely to be great at this thing. That's what we do with Skool.com/realoccult. The universe wants you to win. I want you to win. We've gone way too far, way too long. But I enjoyed every minute of it. I hope you did as well. I will talk to you again soon.